Hi, I'm Dr. Dani. In my previous IBS video, we talked about 7 simple steps to cure IBS. This is part 1 of my series on the IBS diet and food, and today I'm going to focus on what foods to avoid with IBS. So, how do irritable bowel syndrome symptoms relate to the foods, the drinks, and the substances that you consume? Well, years of field research by nutritionists and dietitians and recent research studies by medical doctors have proven that there is a definite link between certain foods, substances, and IBS symptoms. There are 2 different ways that foods can be IBS triggers. And following a special IBS diet, which means sticking to a list of IBS safe foods, which we will cover in part 3 of this series, is a way of avoiding these triggers. The 2 main categories of foods to avoid with IBS are, number 1, gut irritating foods and substances, and number 2, food intolerances or allergies. Many people, or well, most people actually, will only be sensitive to a few from each category. In this video, I'm going to focus on the role of food intolerance in IBS. There are certain foods that cause an intolerance or a kind of allergy in the digestive system. This is different from an anaphylactic allergy, meaning the life-threatening kind of allergy that closes your windpipe. Anaphylactic reactions you can easily test for. This is in contrast to IBS food intolerances or food allergies that don't really have a validated test. There is some new research that has started to use a special type of blood test called IgG immune system testing to identify these possible food allergies. But this test can still be it's not always reliable, and it's also very expensive. So I think it's actually unnecessary, considering that you can find out what intolerances you have without spending a dime by doing an elimination diet, which is where you eat only IBS safe foods for a period of 2 weeks, and then you reintroduce the most common food triggers and the intolerance items back one by one. I have found from experience working with people with IBS that this is the best method. Here is my list of the top foods that cause intolerance or allergies in people with IBS. Don't worry about writing them down. In the next video of this series, there's going to be a download which lists all of the foods to avoid with IBS so that you can view them on your smartphone and take them shopping with you. So, first we have dairy products, especially cow's milk dairy products like cow's milk and cow's yogurt. Then there's wheat products, such as wheat, bread, whole wheat bread, rye bread, spelt, and pastry flour. Gluten, which is like a component of the grain in the wheat plant. So you can look for gluten-free products you may have seen before in the grocery stores. Corn and corn byproducts such as corn chips, corn tortillas, cheap vegetable oils, and corn syrup, which you find in things like soda, candy, snack foods, and ice cream. Peanuts. Yeast, which is found in some breads, pastries, and hiding in lots of processed foods. Eggs and shellfish. Soy, found in soy milk. Snack bars, energy bars, tofu, even fast food burgers. Some types of veggie burgers, some breakfast cereals, and many breads that you buy in the grocery store, so check the ingredient list. And lactose, which is found in milk and dairy products. I have found that most dairy products are enormously common as a trigger for IBS in all of my patients with IBS, and even tiny amounts of milk and tea and coffee may be enough to cause symptoms for you. So one of my patients, for example, she just cut out dairy after we met and after we talked about her symptoms, and her IBS symptoms practically vanished overnight, eliminating the bloating that had caused her so much anguish for years. Her problem was solved just by getting rid of dairy alone. So learning how to read food labels is important if you're going to be serious about controlling your IBS, as many of these foods are very common in the standard Western or North American diet. And the evil big food companies, as I call them, they try to hide unhealthy ingredients in some foods with vague or misleading descriptions on the labels, so read ingredient labels. So IBS symptoms can be strongly influenced by what is put into our body, and finding an IBS diet that takes into account personal food triggers is crucial to controlling IBS symptoms in the long run. In the next video, we'll be looking at the common gut irritating foods for IBS.